All right. Hello again, and thank you for joining NOVAMODULE's webinar on how we can show you how to optimize shipping for your company by connecting ShipStation with NetSuite using our connector product. We'd like to give you a brief insight into the flow of events during this webinar. We're going to start off with introductions, and we're going to have Basan go through a demonstration of the connector functionality, and we'll have a few guest speakers share how their companies use the product and how it's impacted their company as well. And just a housekeeping rule, we will have a portion of the webinar for questions. We do ask, though, that you hold on to your questions to the end of the webinar, or in the questions portion of your GoToWebinar application, you can start sending them in throughout the webinar, and we'll address these at the end. So just a little introduction of who we are here at NOVAMODULE. We are an official Oracle NetSuite SDN partner, and we're also an official partner of Celigo. We're also an official partner of ShipStation, and we are a system integrator for all of our partners. We're focused on building cloud-based integrations. We do offer a variety of pre-built integrations and smart connectors, but we also do offer custom integrations. We also provide flexible scripting models to support any of your customization needs, including SuiteScript, SuiteScript 2.0, and more. We do also offer Oracle NetSuite consulting. However, we do not offer NetSuite implementation. So our speakers today, Basan Malinov, Head of Product Development and Implementation here at NOVAMODULE. He'll be providing the demonstration of the connector product today. And we have Jim Ramsey, Head of Technology from McLaren Services, Rico Andrade, VP of Marketing for Celigo, and Travis Christensen, Marketing and Customer Experience Manager of Driven Products. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
No problem.
I'd like to hand things off to Rico. He'll be speaking briefly about the Integrator IO platform and how they power us here at NOVAMODULE. Rico?
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I'm with Celigo, and for those of you in the NetSuite ecosystem, the Celigo name is probably familiar, as right now we have over 1,500 customers using our platform, and definitely had a big presence at SuiteWorld last week. So I think we also are one of the best kept secrets inside of NetSuite, because most people know us for our smart connectors, and the smart connectors are something that only Celigo, the concept that only Celigo makes available, where it's possible to create pre-built integrations on an iPaaS platform, basically bundle them as these best practices and sell them as a standalone, subscription, like as a pre-built integration, which is what NOVAMODULE is doing on our platform. What this allows you to do is when folks like NOVAMODULE have deep experience in connecting, integrating certain use cases with certain applications, and they see it over and over and over and over and over again, they can take those pre-built use cases and then just create a bundled integration that can be sold as a standalone and very easy to implement and install. And because it's built on an iPaaS, it makes it very, very easy to customize and expand as needed. And because different organizations are so unique in their processes, this ability to grow and expand as we go is extremely important. So what I wanted to, what we have here is within the Celigo platform, it's an integration platform that allows you to connect anything to anything. And the big differences between our integration platform, the Celigo platform, versus other platforms is, number one, we really focus on the user experience to be simple. And this is critically important as companies grow and need to adapt very quickly with their processes and make changes. So instead of a complicated blank slate and tools paradigm that's very, very geared towards developers, that requires a lot of training, we provide a guided user design that you can go in, just log into Integrator IO, start, using it for free, and you can see how it guides you, step by step through the integration process, so you can't take a wrong turn. The second one is the concept of the pre-built integrations that you can use the iPaaS to build these these pre-built integrations like the ones we're going to talk today, and then and not just by Celigo. Celigo has several of them, but partners like NOVAMODULE do build their own smart connectors, and we manage, or the partner manages these smart connectors as they go along. So if NetSuite has an update, the smart connector should update with it, as a managed service. And then finally is that we are based, the platform is a flow-based, use case-based subscription model that allows you to grow as you go. So instead of endpoint-based, which is what traditional iPaaS is, and you pay a fee for every application that you use, if you have, hundreds or thousands of, applications in your organization, you want to be able to just connect to what you need when you need it and not have to pick certain use cases. So we have a ton of experience, particularly in the NetSuite ecosystem, around e-commerce, logistics, shipping providers, wholesale distribution, manufacturing. NOVAMODULE is one of our top partners in this particular space. And if you really just want to check out the platform itself, go to Celigo.com or go to integrator.io, and you can start using it today, and start playing around creating your own flows with our free edition. And that's it for Celigo. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Rico, for that very useful insight. And again, we really appreciate you being a part of this webinar today. And as Rico, segueing from what Rico said, we do offer a variety of pre-built integrations. Some of our most popular ones you can see here are like WooCommerce, Stripe, ShipStation, Magento, and so forth. And a lot of these are actually listed on our website, so you can go onto novamodule.com and see a full list of all the pre-built integrations that we offer. So our ShipStation connector product is actually a fully certified built for NetSuite product, as we are also an official partner of ShipStation. I'll hand things off to Basan now, and he'll be giving a demonstration of the connector. Basan?
Okay, thank you, Sammy. Just give me a second. I'm changing my screens, and I should be sharing that in a moment here. All right, so what, again, my name is Basan Malinov. I am the head of product development and implementation here at NOVAMODULE. The topic of today's discussion is ShipStation to NetSuite connector. That's exactly what I wanted to show you. Before I do that, I just wanted to give you a very quick overview of the integrate.io platform. So essentially, once you create an account, you will have an option to go to the integration marketplace and review all of these apps that we can connect to NetSuite. And as Rico pointed out, it's not only a NetSuite centric integration. We can integrate any cloud-based systems. So again, ShipStation is one of them. And specifically speaking about ShipStation, once we provision a license, this is what you're going to have. This is we call it a product tile. So you do have the dashboard and the settings. And what I'd like to do is just to kind of give you an overview of different data flows on a very high level. And then after that, I will hand things over to Sammy, who will be speaking with our guest speakers about the product and their experiences. So once we go to the settings, essentially what you will see on the left side is the order integration data flows, order related flows, fulfillments, and product. On a very high level, we do have a capability with this connected to import sales orders into ShipStation. So essentially, say if you're getting your orders from different channels like Amazon, eBay, Channel Advisor, it doesn't really matter to us where you get these orders from, as long as they nicely stored in NetSuite. We use safe searches, different capabilities that pull these sales orders. For example, that would be as an example of a safe search that we use to accumulate, to gather your sales orders. And once we have that on a batch base, it's a batch-based data flow. we bring those orders into NetSuite at a predefined frequency, maybe every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes, depending on your requirement. So we do work with the sales order record in NetSuite, and this would be part of this data flow right here. Now, a different flavor or a variation of that would be some companies come to us and they say, hey, you know what? We actually do not want you to touch the sales orders. In fact, we start the fulfillment process within NetSuite, and we create a fulfillment record against the sales order in NetSuite. So why don't you grab the fulfillment record instead and bring that over to ShipStation? Well, that is a valid use case because if you work with companies like RF Smart or maybe another warehouse management system or what have you, then that could be a very valid reason to do so. So in this case, we do have another data flow that takes care of that use case. And as I mentioned, in this case, we take the item fulfillment record and bring that over into ShipStation. So once this sales orders or fulfillment records, once this data flows run, what happens is you will get a sales order in your ShipStation account. And this is how it's going to look and feel. Essentially, it'll come in as the sales order. You have the status awaiting shipment and the pertinent details here, the product price, the SKU number, the actual product, anything that is essentially mapped between the two systems. So once you complete this process, once you ship the process out of ShipStation, then you will get a tracking number, obviously, with it. So I'm using an older record here. So you will define the service, the package, and that's going to be your carrier and a tracking number. And that is pretty much a segue into the fulfillment flow. So essentially, we bring the fulfillments back into NetSuite using a predefined set of data flows. So we can, as you can imagine, when you integrate two systems together, it's all about the mapping and sourcing the right data. So in this case, we do offer a very robust solution when it comes to mapping. So you can map very specific fields. For example, it's all exposed in the user interface. So we no longer hide, like we were doing several years ago, we no longer hide those mappings somewhere in NetSuite in the file cabinets. And then every time you would file a support case, it takes 24, 48 hours to go and add a mapping and then come back to us and say, hey, go ahead and test that. So now you can do it yourself. I personally call it kind of point and shoot mapping. So you can define what field you want to map. As long as you show that field in a safe search, then you can quickly map it, as long as there is an API, of course, on the other side of the equation. So that is how simply it is to map certain things. And all of this is a platform feature, really. So you can have different types of mappings. You can have standard mapping, hard-coded values. You can define static lookups here. So it can really be value to value. Or you can even, if you want to be more granular, you can define the functions and specific fields that you want to work with. So it's a very robust mapping tool. And again, thanks to Soligo, thanks to the Integrate.io platform, it makes it easier for us to build integration products as we do. So that is really the function of these data flows. So we talked about the bringing sales orders into ShipStation and then getting the tracking number back into NetSuite. I also want to mention that we do have a cancellation data flow that works with sales orders. For instance, if you have a sales order in NetSuite that needs to be canceled, once you cancel the sales order in NetSuite, the data flow will cancel that sales order in ShipStation, assuming it hasn't been shipped or processed for shipping in ShipStation. Another part is really the product flow. Some customers use that some customers don't. So it's really sometimes you have an option to update product data from NetSuite. So for example, if you have a SKU and you have a name, so you can update certain data that is available in the API. Like for instance, you can put the description, you can map the image of a product, you can predefine the weights, maybe the warehouse location if you use bins or lot numbered inventory. So all of this is really mappable. So it's like I said, it's very easy to map fields as long as those fields are exposed in the API. Every data flow has a set of advanced features or advanced settings here, so that lets you define a safe search that you want to use with a particular data flow. We can break out specific stores as you go. If you go to ShipStation, you will have an option to actually set up different stores in your account, so we can actually channel specific orders by stores. So for example, if you have an Amazon store or an eBay store and you want to profile those, we can bring those orders into specific stores from NetSuite into ShipStation. And on the way back, we can also do the same for the fulfillments. We can read it from fulfillments from only specific stores. So that would be the store ID. The way you get a store ID is really once you navigate to a store, once you go to the edit mode, then you will see the store ID here listed. So I think that's really the functionality high level that I wanted to give you. And basically what I'd like to do is to pass things over to Sammy now, so we can continue to the questions and answers.
All right, thank you for that demonstration, Basan. Really appreciate that. So you've showed us the functionalities of the connector, and now we'll have our guest speakers share firsthand how they use the product themselves and how it's impacted their company. So again, I'd like to welcome Jim Ramsey, Head of Technology of McLaren Services, and Travis Christensen, Marketing and Customer Experience Manager of Driven Products. So if you gentlemen can give a brief overview of your companies and what they do. Maybe we'll start off with you, Jim.
Okay. Again, I'm Jim Ramsey. I'm the head of technology at McLaren. McLaren is the maker of the premier baby stroller and accessories that go along with that. We do both manufacturing and distribution. And my team, we manage the company's digital transformation. So we're trying to become more and more digital, optimize processes. So we work with all the different business units to optimize and streamline all of our processes, try and increase performance and decrease our costs.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. And Travis, if you can introduce yourself and your company as well.
Yeah, so my name is Travis Christensen. I am the Customer Experience and Marketing Manager at Driven Products. And Driven Products is an online retailer of automotive products, and we are laser focused on things like wheels and wheel accessories. So things like lug nuts, wheels, TPMS sensors, and stuff like that for passenger cars and light trucks. We like to say that we do everything that's wheel related. At the time, you can find all our products on Amazon and eBay under the DP Accessories brand name. And later this year, we plan on launching our new e-commerce website.
That's fantastic, Travis. Congratulations. Really great to hear. Yeah, well, thank you both for your introductions. And I'd like to jump in and just ask, we'll start off with you, Travis. Was your company a current user of ShipStation or NetSuite at the time that you integrated the two systems using the Smart Connector? And if not, what was that transition like for you?
Yeah, so we've been using ShipStation for over 3 years, and we just implemented NetSuite in January of 2017. So for all of 2017, we were using a different connector actually that was not working out for us. So it was time to look for a new solution, and we found you guys, and Implementation was very easy. We were very hands-on. I know that not a lot of other customers may be hands-on, but Basong and the rest of the team were there to help us along the whole way, and they were very responsive. Implementation was actually very easy, and our team actually learned a lot too along the way.
That's exactly what we love to hear, Travis. Thank you so much for that. I'll ask the same question to Jim. Was your company a current user of ShipStation or NetSuite when you started integrating these with our
Well,
smart?
we're kind of almost the exact opposite of Travis there. We've been using NetSuite for about 3 years, and we just started with ShipStation in January of this year. We had tried a different piece of software middle of last year to do shipping integration with a UK-based company, and it failed miserably. It just never worked from day one. So we had scrapped the whole project, and then we stumbled across ShipStation in January, and we were up and running within a couple of weeks from the time that we began talking with the ShipStation guys. It was just a really simple and easy process. Nothing complex about it at all. It just works.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. And I wanted to ask you, in relation to that, what do you use the Smart Connector for, and how do you use it?
So we move our item fulfillments from NetSuite over to ShipStation. In the U.S., we have 3 primary carriers that we use for shipping: U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, and UPS. And one of the big advantages that we gained with ShipStation is, it has the ability to calculate across all the different carriers the shipping rates. So we can see instantly which one's going to be cheaper to ship the product out from. And we ship a lot of our product is big box. It's a baby stroller. So it's not always cheapest to send it through UPS or Federal Express, but sometimes it's cheapest to send it through USPS. So it was just really automated the processes for shipping and streamlined the whole process for us.
It's great to hear that these are all real world examples of how you're using the connector. And Travis, if you can give us an insight, were there any similarities or differences in how your company uses this smart connector and what you use it for?
Yeah, so very similar to Jim. We're not creating sales orders in ShipStation. I know Basong had mentioned that UK use case prior. So our sales orders are being created in NetSuite. And we're using the connector to bring the sales orders and all related information into ShipStation. And then our shipping and warehouse team uses ShipStation and all the information that we imported to fulfill the orders. And then we're sending the item fulfillment records back into ShipStation. From ShipStation back into NetSuite. One of the greatest things for us is, with the ability to really customize a lot of the information and data being pulled into ShipStation from NetSuite, we're able to make the processes better for our shipping and warehouse team. So we've actually increased revenue per employee after implementation. And we're big on improving customer experience. And one of the greatest things is, and my design background goes a lot into this, and I felt really happy about this, but we were able to really customize our packing slips a lot more than we would with our previous connector last year.
That's awesome. Well, do you use ShipStation in conjunction with any WMS systems? Travis?
Not at this time. So ShipStation is what we're using as I'll call a light WMS, but that's another thing that we're actually looking at implementing later in the year, is maybe going with some sort of NetSuite solution for that, or even see if maybe ShipStation expands on their WMS functionality.
Oh, okay, interesting. What about you, Jim? Were there any needed customizations or add-ons with your connector per the specific needs of your company?
We did one customization that you guys were working on at the time that we had signed up. We do a lot of work with what NetSuite calls kits. So we'll bundle 3 or 4 products together and sell it at a reduced price. When you buy that kit, you get those 3 or 4 pieces. And by default, the connector and ShipStation would only send over the top level, the name of the kit, and not the components of the kit. And a lot of times our kit components are sent out as separate packages, because again, the kit contains a baby stroller, a buggy, so that's a rather large box, and it will contain 3 or 4 smaller products that may be put inside of 1 box or put inside of 2 boxes, depending on how big they were. And so we needed the detail level of the kit to make it over to ShipStation. And that took just a couple of days, and they had it worked out for us, and it's been working fine ever since. But that was the only real customization we needed to do.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I mean, I'm glad that we were able to help, solve a lot of those issues for you. But would you say that the connector has allowed for the optimal performance in orders processed via NetSuite? And would you say that you derived a great return on investment from this product?
Oh, absolutely. Using the connector in ShipStation, it reduces the time that it took our warehouse guys to create a label from five minutes or more down to 15 or 20 seconds. Because all the information, from NetSuite, they're not bouncing back and forth between two screens, typing the customer's name from NetSuite into the UPS portal, and then the address and the city, the state, the zip, and then entering the weights and the measurements, all that stuff. It all just pulls over directly from NetSuite, populates the label automatically. And because we're trying to save costs, they would not only enter the information into USPS, but they'd enter into Federal Express and UPS, trying to figure out which one had the best price. And doing, so they were doing all that work 3 times over. But now it's all just automatic and happens. And then at the same time, there's no errors on the labels anymore, where we use, some of the guys in the warehouse aren't always the most careful at typing addresses in, so they would transpose a number on the zip code or on a phone number, or on a street address, and so all that's all gone, because again, it's pulling all the information directly over from NetSuite, and then at the same time pushes the information from ShipStation back into NetSuite. So we get the tracking number, we get the shipping carrier that was used, we get the link for the tracking number, all pushed back into NetSuite, which we can then use to send out our emails back to the customer to say your package has been shipped. Here's the link for the tracking number, so you can track your own package, which just improves the customer experience on the other end. And again, that's all automatic, so they're not sitting there trying to type in an 18-digit tracking number that's on a box that's sitting next to them. It's all just automatic flow back and forth. So it just really cut down on the amount of time to get things done. So we actually did a basic calculation, and if we calculated it right, we had a return on investment about 3.5 weeks after using the software. We had recouped the amount of money that we put into it.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. That's so great to hear, and that's exactly what we're hoping to the outcome of this product would be, is to increase efficiency in processing these orders for your companies. And what about you, Travis? What would you say your return on investment was? Did you derive greater benefits via the use of this product? I know you touched a bit on it earlier, but I was just curious about that, and if anything, maybe if you can share your experience about a connector that you used in the past that wasn't performing the way this is.
Sure. So we're in a very similar boat as Jim there. So overall, the switch over to Celigo and NOVAMODULE has really increased the efficiency of our daily operations. And one of the things we track internally is revenue per employee. So we always want to be more efficient, make sure we can ship everything out on time, because we ship everything the same day as when it's ordered. But it came down to, I'd say, maybe 3 areas of improvement. One was, it was definitely a huge enhancement to our pick, pack, and fulfill process. So with the level of data that we're able to bring over now, especially on packing slips, our shipping and warehouse team is actually able to increase efficiency by picking the correct things, by having the bin numbers on with specific kit components. And overall, just the information being brought over for shipping services and stuff like that just makes our whole process a lot easier. The second thing is, with the integration that we had last year with another company, one of the biggest issues was if something happened or there was something wrong, or I don't know, something different with a sales order, and the connector was having an issue importing a sales order from NetSuite into ShipStation, we couldn't do anything about it. We had to reach out to them, and sometimes we couldn't get a fix from a few hours to 24 hours. So that goes into the third thing that I'm really happy about is, with this connector, Celigo and NOVAMODULE, we're actually able to set it up where if there is an issue with the sales order, the connector is still bringing the orders into ShipStation so that our shipping and warehouse team can, just continue their momentum, keep picking, packing, and fulfilling orders. And then our development team can actually fix that issue without impacting daily operations. So our daily operations is able to continue moving throughout the day without any stops, and we've seen huge improvements from that with efficiency.
Great, that's so great to hear. And lastly, I just wanted to ask you both, and we can start with you, Travis, if you have any tips and tricks that you'd like to offer to current and future users of the connector.
Definitely. So again, Basang and the rest of the Nova Module team was very hands-on the whole way. So they were able to answer any questions we had along the implementation process. But I know that there are some companies who aren't so hands-on. I would recommend that you at least have one representative from your company being involved in the implementation process. Not that you have to get all technical and build everything, but I think it's a great opportunity to really learn about the potential of the connector. It's great for scaling and for just building improvements down the line. If you're aware of everything that you can do with the connector, it really helps you think about and brainstorm about like I said, future improvements. So I'd say having somebody there who's involved with the implementation process is probably the best tip I can give.
Thanks for that, Travis. And do you have anything to add, Jim?
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed here, and we do a lot of work with different companies. One thing that you don't want to do when you go with the solution is don't just install it and walk away. I keep in touch with the warehouse on a regular basis just to see how they're using it. Are there repetitive tasks that they're doing? ShipStation has a very powerful back end also where you can automate a lot of tasks. So the stuff that the warehouse guys are doing over and over again repetitively that you can automate based on data that's coming across, you can do that. You can just continue to improve the performance and efficiencies that they're seeing. So don't just install it and walk away, but keep in touch with the people that are using it, and you can keep making it better. It becomes a better product that way.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We really appreciate all this useful information and your firsthand experience with the connector and with our staff here at NOVAMODULE, as well as your experience with Celigo. We again want to thank you for attending this webinar today, and we look forward to any new projects with you and future users of our ShipStation connector in the future. I'd like to now transition into our question and answer portion of the webinar. You guys are welcome to send in your questions. If you would like, please use the questions section in the GoToWebinar application. We can start off. I do have one here from, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Defefi. Hi, Basang. I may be mistaken, but doesn't NetSuite have its own pre-built in shipping and fulfillment system? And if so, where is the need or fit for ShipStation in NetSuite? Basang, you can take this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I believe both Travis and Jim addressed this question to some degree. Essentially, ShipStation offers a lot more capability, the ease of use of the system. So I'm talking about ShipStation itself, and the ability to work with multiple carriers. So we do have Canadian customers who use Canadian carriers. So that basically provides you as a user of ShipStation an option to really set up your accounts with those carriers or use ShipStation predefined rates with those carriers and use them. So I think that that is by far a differentiating factor here. Also, in addition to that, I think the flexibility, like how you can process your packages, you can print and batch, you can do a lot of good things with the picking slips. And if you have different stores, for example, let's say you've set up your store, like I think if I recall correctly, in Jim's use case, you guys have the UK store and the US store. The packing slips can reflect different logos or different addresses there. So there is a lot more. So it's user friendly, and of course, lots of customers like it for the rate shopping capability. So you can select a particular service code, and then that will spit out the rate. And then there you can determine which one you want to use. So I think Jim brought up that example as well in the past. So these are the advantages, and I think that's what I can say off the top. And if you guys do have questions, please follow up with me via email. I think there are other questions coming in.
All right, so the next question is from the same speaker. Is batch shipping not possible in NetSuite? If that's the case, then absolutely ShipStation is a major benefit.
Batch shipping is possible in NetSuite, so you can batch ship and generate labels. I think with ShipStation, it's a much faster process. That is my understanding of it.
Awesome, thank you, Basan. Our next question is Ryan. Can the actual shipping costs to our company be mapped in this connector?
Oh yes, that's very easy to do. So as long as you see an actual cost on the ShipStation side, we actually map this back as part of the fulfillment import data flow. So once there is a label generated on the ShipStation side, we see exactly how much your account as the user of ShipStation was charged, and we can bring that value over. So I think that is very valuable to compare what you charge to your customer versus to what you're getting, what you pay for the service. If you do any kind of markups on shipping, anything along those lines. But yes, it's mappable.
Alrighty. The next one is coming in from, again, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Sita. Are bins and lots supported in this connector as well?
Yes. So basically, on the NetSuite side, if you use bins or a lot numbered inventory, that's totally fine. So as long as you can predefine like what bin, a preferred bin or a particular lot that you want to use, then our connector just works out of the box with that setup.
All right. And another question from a Melissa. How long does an integration take to complete?
Okay, so as far as the duration, I can say this much: for those users who used who had NetSuite or used NetSuite for quite a while, as well as ShipStation, so they know the back end of these two systems. We've gone live in literally within a day, and I'm not exaggerating. These are all referenceable customers. So essentially, that is possible. Typical duration for an enterprise edition of the connector, the implementation duration about 2 weeks from start to finish. And that's what I typically quote when I talk to my prospects.
All right, let me see. It doesn't look like we have any more questions coming in, but for time's sake, we're going to bring this presentation to a close. If you have any other questions or would like any more information regarding the ShipStation connector or any of the other pre-built connectors that we have built, we have our contact information here. You can send us an email at hello@novamodule.com, or you can contact us via our phone number 415-323-0520, extension 888. We also have URLs here for you to access some of our online content. You can check us out on Suite App Reviews. You can also see our connector overview on our website at novamodule.com. And also via our partnership with ShipStation, you do actually get a 60-day free trial. I think typically if you go directly to ShipStation, it is a 2-week trial. So this is actually a really good deal for you. And if you'd like to read more about our partnership with ShipStation, they actually have a briefing there on their website via that link here. Thanks everyone for attending this webinar, and we look forward to many more projects to come. And thank you to all of our guest speakers. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day and being a part of this. Right, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.